OCPodcasts.com.
AirWreckRadio. Hey, Corey.
Yes, Stacy?
What do you call a librarian in North Korea?
I don't know. What do you call a librarian in North Korea?
Dear reader.
Well, here they come again. They heard that things were happening. With mics in front of faces, their lips begin a flapping. They talk about world and local news reports, and even Steph Michaels, cause she's a doggy whore. Corey says, man, it's a goddamn joke. Corruption is abundant and the POTUS is a hoax. Stacy says,
Man, I'd like to act, but Americans are lazier than most, that's fact.
so go get a bowl, a spoon, and some cereal, and sit your ass down. It's time for AirWreckRadio.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and thank you for choosing AirWreckRadio. We'd like to apologize in advance if there's any inconvenience caused, but we're going down.
It is the 17th day of March in the year 2014. I am Corey,
And I'm Stacy.
and this is episode 45 of AirWreckRadio. Only 7 more episodes till I let you do the introduction.
Oh, boy, I can't wait.
Beginning of season 2, we're going to start fresh. We're going to shake it up.
Yeah, it's going to be fresh and shook up. And shit like that.
All sorts of things.
Terrific.
As usual, we're coming to you from the Hideaway Studios.
The Hideaway Studios. Real podcasting, doing real podcasting for real liquor.
While we drink real whiskey and real cheap beer.
Yeah. Had a little change here. Gave up on the brewing for the time being.
Well, you can't. It's hard to have two hobbies that cost money. And since you put
take time, too. A lot of time.
And you put a bunch of money into your podcasting equipment here at the studio, and I don't have to drag mine back and forth. This is awesome.
Yeah. Much quicker setup. This way.
Yeah, I opened my computer. I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Ready to go. Terrific.
And I'll see now. And normally I have like 3-4 screens open, and now I literally only need 2 screens. I need a Google screen open, and I need my notes for show content open.
Yeah, notes are important to have ready and available. Yeah. So now that that's settled,
it's so nice.
What do you think we should talk about first tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I was too busy crying and complaining about my day job to even think about what we were going to do for. But I kind of,
I've got it covered.
Okay,
if you need.
I got to be honest with you. I kind of like when we do forget to do something,
Yeah.
and then we figure it out on the mic.
I think
It's
read it
not
on-
great. If you spend 45 minutes, it's going to suck. But for 3 minutes, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about this one, okay?
I read an iTunes comment about our show just the other day, and it was like my favorite thing is when they forget to do anything at all.
Yes.
And the AirWreckRadio rim shot makes its appearance.
Well, I'm glad that we now have a name for that. Good job, sir. Who posted that? Did they get to have a name?
I don't know. I made it up. Made up Poster One. That was their name. They were Made Up Poster One. This is a true story and not fiction. Speaking of fiction,
So, Stacy, do you have a bullshit thing for us to talk about?
I do.
All right.
So, Corey, you recall a couple of years ago, I had started to write a work of fiction. Book is a presumptuous title for something that was 100 pages.
That's a novella, at least.
Yeah, and I couldn't understand what you said for a second. Novella.
Novella.
Yeah.
It's a novella.
It's not a word you hear very
At
often.
least.
I was like, a novella? What? Is that an expression people use?
Yeah, it's a no fellow.
Yeah.
for a short-ass thing.
You've heard of Goodfellas. This is No Fellas. I don't have anything else for that. That was a terrible joke.
The great thing about a 100-page book is that you really could perfectly cut that down into a 45-minute, maybe a 30-minute pilot TV show.
Well, it wasn't complete at 100 pages.
I'm just saying, at that level, I mean, that's like a perfect cut point for a story like that.
Yeah. I had made it 100 pages in, and I kind of fell off of it, man. I got too busy with things. It was I think it was right about the time my son was being born.
Do you know what the best part about artistic projects for personal expression and personal satisfaction?
Satisfaction, I think, is the word.
Satisfaction, yes. Satisfaction is that it doesn't matter how long it takes.
No, it doesn't.
You can always go back to it.
Until, like, the hardware that you were saving it on fails.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Sad news, bro.
No way, really?
Gone.
You lost the book?
Gone, goodbye.
The hard drive failed?
It was on that side drive. I used to keep, listener, in case you're interested, I used to keep a side drive on the back of my old laptop.
Yeah.
But it was on kind of a flimsy connection, and that little connector thing stopped. Like, it lights up the little LED, but it doesn't. The hard drive spins, but it doesn't see it. The computer doesn't see it. I don't know. It's
I don't know. We got it. Well, whoa. What if we could find somebody that could get past that?
I did find somebody who could get past
And
it.
get your book back.
Me. I just typed it again. I got 10 pages done. I have the whole prologue is written. And
You know what?
honestly,
It's good for the creative process.
a lot of that stuff needed to be rewritten anyway. I mean, there was a lot of really good details and stuff going on there, but it was all like,
It's not going to hurt you to write it again.
no, I'll just write it again. But still, bummer. 100 pages, man.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to write 100
Dude,
pages.
I'm trying to write a freaking screenplay, and I have nowhere near 100 pages. I have a lot of scenes that don't connect to each other at this point, is what I have.
Yeah, it's hard to get segues.
That's what I'm working on right now.
You know what is not a good segue?
What?
To blunder right into a news story.
Like?
I think we're getting better at segues.
Wait, I gotta pick one. I have so many to choose from.
All right, Scott Mosier.
Oh, it was Scott Mosier-esque. I didn't mean it that way. Did you happen to know that today is St. Patrick's Day?
Did you know that I happen to know that?
Did you?
I actually learned a lot about St. Patrick today.
And yet you're wearing a blue shirt and tie.
Don't own anything green. Not exactly
You
my
look like
color.
a sports broadcaster right now. You look a little like Mike Ditka.
Kotitka? You could say worse things about me. Speaking of, I look like football coaches. The guys at work, the bosses at work, think I look like Mike Millman, who was the coach of the Detroit Lions like 15 years ago.
Oh, dude, I love the Detroit Lions. They're hockey, right?
And I'm a dead ringer for him. Like, he's like in his 50s, but it's me. Fast forward, and guess who? I shaved my goatee, and one of the other new guys looked right at me, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago and says, "You look like Farva from Super Troopers."
You do look like Farva from Super Troopers. That's true.
So guess what my name is at this dealership?
Farva.
Yes.
Yes, it's the right nickname for you. You need to get those aviator sunglasses back.
I told him that I'm going to.
Yeah. So you happen to know that it is St. Patrick's Day today, right?
Yes.
Do you know what happened today for the first time ever since God created the heavens and the earth?
Well, today in the past, St. Patrick actually died.
Oh, I don't know anything about that stuff.
No?
Nope.
Irish boy? I learned it all today, so I don't want to act like high and mighty. Like I've always known that. I learned it from another Irish guy today.
That's I don't know what St. Patrick actually did.
He brought Christianity to the Irish.
Oh, good for him. Guilt. We needed it.
Yeah, before that it was barbaric hordes
All right, maybe a little guilt.
that infiltrated the land there.
Did something
And
good.
He was taken as a slave, and then his preaching is the story.
That's
and then
that's the weirdest way ever to escape slavery.
yes, become a saint.
Preach so much they get so sick of listening to you. They're just like, all right, already, get out of here.
Worship your God. Just shut up.
Well, you know what else happened for the first time? So,
He was Italian, and the bosses were picking on the Irish guys for talking about St. Paddy's Day. And the bosses are all Italian, until the one guy turned to the boss and said, St. Patrick was Italian. And then they were all in. He was calling his brothers over. Hey, did you know St. Patrick's fucking Italian?
St. Patrick's was Italian?
St. Patrick was Italian.
That's not an Italian name.
Well, you don't keep your actual name when
Oh,
they
that's true.
make you a
Yeah,
saint.
that's true. That's a good point. It's a good point to have had to make because I bet I'm not the only person in the listening room that didn't know that.
All right, on to your story. I'm sorry.
Do you know what else happened for the first time in since ever on a St. Patrick's Day parade?
That's the first time I heard that segue. No? What, Stacy? What happened for the first time ever?
The mayors of New York and someplace in Connecticut and Boston also, and probably a bunch of others. I don't have this stuff right in front of me here. I could, but I don't. They didn't march this time. They sat it out.
Okay, why?
In support of gay equality, which is something that I am in favor of, and I think you are too.
Me too.
Yeah. All right.
If I believed in putting stickers on cars, I'd have the little equal sign.
So, gay group had wanted to. A gay organization, I guess, is probably better word. An LGBT organization.
Wow, way to be safe.
Yeah,
we're
nailed it.
We're a podcast on the internet, right?
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough.
Don't get me wrong. I do want to hurt people's feelings, but I want to make it clear that when I do it, I know what I'm doing.
Without getting too distracting, I think people that listen to podcasts at this point, especially ones that are labeled explicit, are probably used to some offensive humor.
I'm sure they are.
But I like LGBT organization. That was very clean.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So an LGBT organization wanted to march in the parade. And they...
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what the parade organizers said. They said, "Oh, that's fine. Go ahead. You can, you pay the entry fee or whatever you do to get in the parade.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fill out paperwork.
Do the stuff that you do. Have your whatever. That's fine." And then the LGBT organization wanted to have big signs that said, "I'm Irish and gay." And I'm like,
guys.
And the parade organizers were like, "No, we don't want that." And they were like, "Well, you're committing a hate crime." And I don't know about that. Or I don't know that they actually said you're committing a hate crime, but that's why the mayors sat out, was in support of gay rights.
Wow, there's so many layers.
There's one right there.
See, now I do it. All right. As far as a politician, let's start off at the head of it. Too hot of a subject, I'm bailing out.
Yep. Fair move, guys. I get it. I mean, All
right, go ahead. It's career suicide, and it's not your fault that you have to play that stupid game.
Yeah.
It's not. They have to.
Right.
It's not their fault. All right. As far as the marching into... And I hate to sound like a grumpy old Republican, but if we let them with the signs, and I'm kind of okay with, you got the poster board sign, and it says, I'm gay, and I'm Irish.
I'm gay, and I'm Irish.
I'm okay with that. But I would fear that the next step would be that people would take liberties with that leeway, and it would turn, like the last section of the St. Patty's Day parade would turn into the gay pride parade, and there'd be a bunch of guys in assless chaps waving rainbow flags with sprinklers, sparklers, which is for the gay pride parade.
They'd turn it into the gay pride. That's, I think, what the parade organizers are concerned about, is that the LGBT groups would... It might get, this isn't your parade, dude. You got your parade. Now, I understand. Hey, you want to be in the parade? Be in the parade. Here's the deal. If there was a bunch of black Irish people that wanted to have a float, I bet they wouldn't have signs that told you that they were black, because you don't need them for them. Like, nobody cares that you're gay, dude. Get over it. We got over it. Now you need to get over it.
Do we have a local gay rights parade?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I think we should get into it with big signs that says, "I'm straight and I don't give a fuck." Or we'll keep it PC because maybe you get some camera time. "I'm straight. I just don't care what you do."
I don't care who you do.
Yeah. And then AirWreckRadio on the back of the sign.
Yeah. As long as they say okay.
If you're in, I think we've got a bit here. Fun to do.
Yeah, I might be on board with that.
It sounds like fun to do to me. I don't know. I love me, the gay. They're a fun time.
What a soundbite that would make. I'm just going to check the time real quick.
Go ahead. There was a silence on either side of it, too, so it should be easy to identify.
So did you happen to catch Edward Snowden at on the South by Southwest thing?
No, we did that story last week, and no, I didn't see it.
Man, I meant to, man. And
Damn it, you didn't get it either?
It was an hour long, dude. I don't have time to watch video for an hour. I could have listened to it, but I bought a new book, so I didn't listen to it.
Okay. I don't know what you have next, but I want to do in the first break here, in the nonsense, I want to touch on that Malaysia thing just real quick.
Oh, sure.
I don't want to do it in headlines, because it's been done to death in headlines.
You could have just done it, but okay.
Well, I like to converse with you, and we hadn't really come down to a solid answer whether you were going to do it because you weren't really feeling it.
Well, I don't love the story, but of course, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
I want to know, and I haven't been able to find out, I want to know what, besides this thing, which I'm interested in, don't get me wrong.
Which thing?
The Malaysia...
The airliner disappearance.
Airliner falling off the face of the earth disappearance.
Yes.
What else has happened in the world? Well, everybody was obsessed with this.
Oh.
I'm sure Russia and the United States and China and every other fucking country has taken advantage of this free press gambit.
They voted. Do you know? Was that a legitimate question? Would you like an answer for it?
Outside of, I think the one answer you're going to give me is like the one thing that I know.
They voted in Crimea, which is part of Ukraine.
Yeah.
That they wanted to be out of Crimea or out of Ukraine and into Russia.
And Russia has officially recognized Ukraine as an independent country.
Hey, dude, those people voted. Now, I understand that they might have a little civil war over that vote, but that's a civil war. That's their problem.
Yeah.
But NATO says it can't be, and we're NATO, so now we have to play this big fucking horse shit game.
And I know that complicates things because now we're talking Russia's willing to support. Say it again.
NATO? No. The Crimea.
Crimea.
The
I
Crimean
can't
region.
keep that one. Russia wants to support Crimea's vote of voice, but it has.
Russia had said before
it had to militarily influence a sovereign nation, and that's what the sticking point with NATO is. But there's got to be somewhere in here where it says there was a free and democratic vote. We got to make this deal.
That's what I think too. I think that if that's not in the NATO contract,
we got to make this
that's
deal.
Got to get in that contract. But still, it's like Minos Factos. You can't.
Could Russia buy it?
If it got, I don't know. If it got, that's a good question.
Could Russia just buy the fucking place?
Yes,
if Ukraine was willing to take the payment.
I just bought a summer home. Is Crimea.
Crimea. It's furthest east. It's very nice.
Very nice in Crimea this time of year. There are no more Ukrainians. We, I don't want to say we killed them all.
But they're just not there anymore.
They're not there anymore. So that's Crimea has voted to leave Russia, or to leave for Russia. And
if Russia's willing to have them,
Russia wants them bad, dude.
So I see where Ukraine doesn't want to give up chunks of its land. I get that, but maybe if there's a little cash on the exchange here.
Here's the thing I don't get.
Maybe I don't miss a little bit of corner in my backyard.
The U.S. stirred this soup. This soup might have been bubbling without our help, but we definitely put our fucking spoons in there and stirred that soup.
So this poses the next question.
What the fuck did we do that for?
Well, we've been watching Russia because we stirred the soup to make Russia go off. Well, we've been watching Russia. What the fuck have we been doing?
Not watching Edward Snowden on the South by Southwest.
Not us personally, I meant our
But
government.
Russia sure had access to all that information, too. Let's remember where the guy lives, so, it's something to be aware of.
I hope at no point did my speech so far, my conversation so far, did I come off like I'm a big Russia supporter.
I'm not a big Russia supporter either, but this is not our problem. This is just not the only reason it is because of the NATO treaties, and that was an irresponsible move. But NATO, listen up, homies. Nations like Ukraine, why are they part of NATO? I don't understand what do they bring to the table?
There's got to be a loophole.
What do they bring to the table that NATO wanted to give them NATO protections? I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would we offer, we as NATO, not we as the U.S., but NATO, why would we offer the North Atlantic Trade Organization? Russia doesn't border the Atlantic at all. This is not a NATO, I know it's not what NATO is anymore, but that's what the letters stand for.
It's not even the name anymore. They've officially made the letters the official name of the group.
Whatever. It's not... Why did we give NATO protections to countries like this? What the fuck?
It's not that we.
I know it was the Cold War and things were different. We were much younger, hot-headeder America out to strike communism down.
The spirit of the act, the spirit of the writing, is a positive thing. The point of it is that a big country is not going to be allowed to pick on a little country just because they don't have the same resources.
Yeah, or all the other countries will have to treat that like an infraction on their own sovereignties.
They have to balance.
Yeah,
balance the
horribly
tide.
Irresponsible.
But the spirit of it, at least, was genuine. The problem is, and even then it was a problem, but even more so now, is technology has brought warfare to an all-new level of capability.
Oh, yeah.
We can really kill some motherfuckers now. Even third-world countries have AK-47s, and AK-47s have killed a whole lot of human beings.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
It doesn't seem like it would be responsible for anybody involved in this issue to instigate something ugly. However, it is very important to point out that wars don't get started because of people acting responsibly.
No, the wars usually get started because people act selfishly.
Now, when you said that you wanted to talk about the airline disappearance, and I said I don't really care about that story, I didn't know that was your way of saying you wanted to talk about Russia.
I wasn't. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I kind of didn't feel that you were feeling what I wanted to talk about.
No, go ahead and talk about it. I do want to talk about that one.
What I have is really just a couple clips. But
you have clips? How's that going to work?
No, just a couple clips of seconds.
Okay.
Lost my train of thought now. Thank you.
Derailed.
Smash. Malaysia airliner thing.
Yeah.
I had some original thoughts on it, and I didn't feel that you were feeling it. So I kind of thought about it again and said, oh, yeah, I have another question about that I might have a conversation about. So I picked that one instead of the one that you weren't necessarily, I didn't feel you were feeling.
Well, now do yours. That's what's fair is fair.
My thing with this Malaysia airliner thing,
I still can't think of Malaysia and not think that means your genitals itch.
best joke ever.
Is it? Cool. Didn't feel like that to me, but all right.
I told the guy at work that I'd use his joke on the podcast tonight.
Oh.
And it was about the Malaysia airliner thing, and I just can't remember it.
Man, your memory is failing you, Corey. Perhaps you are exhibiting signs of Alzheimer's.
I can tell you the stock numbers of all the cars I've sold.
Asperger's. I meant to say Asperger's.
I haven't been committing those things to memory lately. I've been focusing on other things lately. Before we try to figure out what happened, we need to figure out where the fuck this thing went. We're never going to figure out what happened until we figure out where this went. Amelia Earhart went down in the 50s? 20s? When was
30s?
it?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Listener, email us with the answer.
I'll Google it when I'm not talking.
We'll send you a sticker.
When you pick up the stick, I'll Google it. But we could just email for the sticker. We could do that too.
What?
We could just email for the sticker. They don't have to answer the question.
No, I want an answer to the question. You want a sticker? Listen, stickers are a finite resource, man. We're talking zero-sum economics here. If they want a sticker, they can answer the question. It'll take a simple Google question or Google search. Don't you search it now, you bastard. Say it so they know. That's not fair.
I just said I was going to do that.
I'll have to send out millions of stickers then.
But, Amelia,
tens of stickers.
We never found the wreckage. No idea what happened. Now, mind you, it was a long time ago. We didn't have the technology to find the wreckage. Yeah, it was terrorism.
Terrorism. I
got to be honest with you, I don't think it was terrorism.
Somebody declared a jihad on Amelia Earhart. Yeah. Tragedy plus time.
Equals funny every time. So if we don't find them, so a lot of everything you hear about this plane, other than we haven't found it yet, which is extremely strange. Don't get me wrong. That we've searched, like the search pattern is now the size of the United States.
Yeah, it's a big ass area, and a lot of it's water, deep ass water.
We haven't found a floating cushion,
a water bottle,
a suitcase, toilet paper, oil or fuel from the plane that would float on the top of the water. Anything. We haven't found anything. Now, I'm not saying it's not there. It's just a little strange. It's been 10 days since the accident, and we can't find a single shred of evidence of its location.
It's definitely strange.
It's very strange. Do you know?
Would you like to speculate wildly?
Oh, that's what everyone else is doing, so why don't we?
Well, and I mean, we're not constrained by the needs to be real news source because
I've heard that's 3 not what we theories that stuck with me out of all the thousands of theories there are.
Elvis hijacked that motherfucker.
That's the one. The first and I think most plausible of this is either the pilot or the co-pilot with piloting skills.
I crack co-pilot. Pirate.
decided to kill himself.
Yo, if you say pilot with an Asian accent, it sounds like pirate. Whoa. I pirate airplane. You get that?
I get it.
Whoa.
Creepy.
All right, continue.
It's like that Lincoln Kennedy thing.
I don't know that.
I would have to look up the facts, but the way it works is...
Nah, don't do that. Just make it up.
Kennedy's secretary's last name was Lincoln. Lincoln's secretary's last name was Kennedy.
Really?
And that's an example of 12 different examples of similarities cross-connections between Kennedy and Lincoln.
What an interesting little fact.
The only two presidents that were assassinated, both shot in the head. There's a whole bunch of other coincidences between the two of them. But going back to with my conspiracies, I think the most probable sounding one is either one of those two decided to commit suicide in what looked like a work-related accident so their family could get the payout. Whether it be the kid, the pilot who had kids and a wife.
Wait, were they the kind of people that were going to be suicidal?
It's a major factor. Pilot suicide is a major factor in any crash investigation.
Well, that makes sense.
They're fairly suicide vulnerable.
What a dick
They're
thing
very
to
isolated.
do. Yeah.
But if you make it look like a work accident, your family gets paid big time. If you die at work in an accident with big life insurance coverage, you're going to get paid. Your family's going to get paid big. Whether it be your parents that you still live with, the co-pilot, who maybe you feel you owe your whole life to, even though it's worthless.
Yeah.
Or your children and your wife, the pilot, who you feel you owe your whole life to, and it's worthless. You knock the other pilot out, turn the transponder off, and slowly fly into the ocean. Way off course, so they can't find you.
That's sad.
Takes a long, long time. Looks like a random accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the most probable theory that I've heard. The other ones that I felt that were more glamorous that I liked were that it was stolen by one of it was stolen. Both transponders were turned off, and then they flew it under a 777 under the radars.
They flew a 777 under the radar.
Under the radar.
Okay.
Landed it somewhere. And now they say you don't need as long of a space to land as you do to take off because the plane's lighter because you're almost out of fuel.
Yeah. Also, stopping is easier than going, sort of.
As a rule.
Yeah.
There's friction.
Something's going to stop you.
So that they stole this thing, keeping hostages. They're going to fill it up with jet fuel.
Yeah.
Fill up the cargo compartment with bomb, explosive of some sort, TNT, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Take the passengers, put them back on the plane, fly wherever they're planning to hit, pop up on the radar at as late of a second as they can.
Yeah.
Announce that they still have hostages, which might buy them 30 seconds more time.
Yeah, they're going to shoot that plane. I mean, if that is something that goes on,
might buy them 30 seconds more of the guy who makes a call, shoot it down, go, there's 200 people.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're going to shoot.
But it might buy you 30 seconds.
That's protocol, man. I'm thinking that plane shows back up in the sky.
Shoot it down. It's worth keeping the people just to buy you a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Could be.
It's worth keeping them.
Yeah.
Even if it buys you a minute. And if it doesn't, you didn't lose anything other than feeding them for a little while till you get your plan together.
Yeah.
I find this highly unlikely. However, this was a fun story that I heard.
I don't think anything about this story is fun.
And my most favorite is Aliens.
Oh, God. Aliens is
my most favorite.
You know, it's funny.
They just snatch that bitch out the sky, and it's just going to show up somewhere.
It's the most ridiculous... why? I mean, just everything about it is like, why? But I even had that thought. I was like, maybe it was aliens.
those are the three that really stuck with me.
Absolutely unlikely that it would be aliens, but
no, this plane has crashed somewhere, but where?
Unlikely shit happens, I guess.
And it's not like they're flying over the
Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, but no.
The other one.
I disagree.
On the other side of the planet, the Ring of Fire.
I can't think anymore because I can just hear Johnny Cash. That's all that's happening.
It ain't me, babe.
Marianas Trench.
No, it ain't me, babe. I love that song.
They weren't flying over the Marianas Trench. It's fairly shallow ocean. Our technology is capable.
The Marianas Trench is shallow?
No, they're not flying over the Marianas Trench.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry. Misunderstood you.
It's capable.
Probably wasn't the only one. I'm just saying.
It's pretty shallow water. We're capable.
You know what else we're capable of? Doing 15 minutes of live podcasting. You know when we're going to be capable of doing that?
Is it going to be the 28th and the 29th?
Yes, of March. Where are we going to be doing that from, Corey?
At the Record Archive. And if you give me just a half a second, I can actually get the address this time.
Folks, do you want to know where the Record Archive is?
You gave it to the directions last time, and I got to tell you, it was kind of confusing.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I said if you see it from the expressway, which you will, you've gone too far. Turn around and go back.
It's 33 1/3 Rockwood Street, Rochester, New York, 14610.
Yeah, that's visible from the expressway, but if you see it from the expressway, you went too far.
ROC Podfest 2014.
Keep going. Fuck it. Go to Seas Breeze instead.
Live shows from 6 to 9, both nights. And you're gonna see all your favorite podcasts, including us, A Podcast, Mental Overload, Sounds of Tomorrow, Second Prince.
This Just Breaking's host is this Just In?
This Just Breaking.
Just Breaking.
Yes.
Dude does a
Brian
2-minute.
McBride.
He does a 2-minute news show. It's awesome. It's terrific.
I want
it's
him
so
to
good.
I want him to get back on it. He took a hiatus,
but he's going to be emceeing the event.
I'd highlight it every week if he did it again.
Yeah,
we played it in our show every week.
Yeah, definitely would.
Yeah,
it's only 2 minutes, so yeah, we definitely would do that. So he's emceeing, and you'll see AirWreckRadio at 7 and change on Friday. Right before AirWreckRadio, you're going to see Second Prince. Right after AirWreckRadio. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know who's up next.
You know the lineup? Maybe we'll get the lineup for next week.
Maybe.
But
maybe we'll do
week,
that.
But for this week. My next question to you, sir, is how much time do we have in? Because
that's why I was plugging that.
We're doing. I kind of felt that.
Okay.
But, so I wanted to let the listeners in on a little bit of Stacy spent all this money upgrading and got himself a little better, fancier studio.
Yeah.
So Stacy's conducting this party.
Oh yeah. I'm pushing the buttons tonight, folks.
Yeah, buddy.
Want to see the coolest thing I can do? Corey, tell me something you know I'm going to hate hearing. You're not going to do it? I really wanted you to do it. That's okay.
I just can't come up with anything that's...
I honestly would have felt bad muting you anyway, because it would fucking... That's like the rudest thing you could possibly do to somebody on a show, I think.
Possibly.
Short of like, I don't know, slapping them with your dick on air. That might be
threatening to punch
rude.
him in the face.
That's more rude. Getting threatened to be punched in the face is pretty close to the rudest thing you can do.
I'm sorry.
In civil conversation, it shouldn't break down that quick. No, muting somebody is probably the most rude thing you could do. This is a free speech forum. I would never mute you, except as part of a bit. Or when it's time to go to break. Corey, would you like to tell people it's time to go to break?
No.
You're such an asshat. Come on, man.
No, I don't want to go to break.
All right, folks, that's it. We're going.
MonkeyRadio.info. If monkeys had microphones, their show would be significantly better. This is Monkey Radio.
Just remember, this is a comedy show.
Right. I'm going to make this as funny as possible.
Two minds.
Hi, this is Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway and Canadian Icon.
Hi, this is Cara and Rian. We are the Morgan Twins.
Hey, this is Michael Parks.
Hi, this is two-time Golden Glove champion and celebrity fitness trainer and TV personality, Cara Castanova.
Hi, this is Brad Sherwood. You may remember me from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Hi, this is the Grapefruit from the Annoying Orange.
One world.
And I would rather run full speed onto a cold doorknob backwards than listen to Monkey Radio.
I'd rather drown my cat.
And we would rather eat a spider.
I'd rather be flexing at the gym right now.
I'd rather live by myself and have 25 cats that got hair all over the place with no boyfriend, never having sex.
I would rather have an actual monkey pull an actual radio out of my actual butt than listen to Monkey Radio.
Then listen to Monkey Radio.
Then listening to Monkey Radio.
Then listen to Monkey Radio.
Zero patience.
Well, next thing I know, the light turns red, and here comes this van speeding right at me. Uh-oh, look out, right?
That's crazy. Wacka wacka.
Well, next thing I know, I'm in the sidewalk, and his van is literally piling through the front of Michael's.
Stop, you're killing me.
It almost did me. And I couldn't feel anything below my neck for about an hour and a half.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that great?
Wow, I know.
Monkey Radio. Wait a minute, it's free?
MonkeyRadio.info.
Your bring back.
Yeah, it is my bring back, isn't it? Hey, folks, welcome back to the show. It's great to see you. Didn't expect to see you here, so here we are. It's time for headline news, Corey.
Headline news.
Tonight in the headlines, I found an awesome little story. I called it Agent Orange. It's what's for dinner.
You emailed it to me, but I didn't get a chance to read this one yet.
That's okay. For people who don't know what Agent Orange is a toxic defoliant which was used heavily in the Vietnam War to deprive guerrilla fighters of both cover and food. Defoliant, as you may suspect from the name, kills leafy plants. The effects of using Agent Orange in Vietnam can still be
the Nam.
Back in Nam.
The Nam.
Yeah, that's hypnotic. The effects of using Agent Orange in Vietnam.
No.
Shut up. Can still be felt today, over 50 years later. The Red Cross estimates that 1 million Vietnamese were affected, including third-generation children born with severe birth defects. Third-generation children are still born with birth defects from the damage to the DNA of the people who were exposed to Agent Orange. Agent Orange is made of two things.
I'm sorry, I was adjusting your gigantic pop filters.
Whatever. Agent Orange is made of two things. They're both very long names, so bear with me. Dichlorophene oxyacetic acid, that is more commonly known briefer as 2,4-D. And also...
Some other stuff.
Just one other thing. It's got two things. It's trichlorophene oxyacetic acid, or 2,4,5-T.
Okay, and now these are the inactive or active ingredients, and are they clearly labeled on the bottle per...
On the bomb?
Yeah.
The disbursement grenade or
per
whatever you
FDA
use.
standards.
I don't know, they stopped using Agent Orange, when the Vietnam War ended.
Because it's terrible.
Terrible. Horrible. So good news. They're using one of the two ingredients in Agent Orange. The first one, dichlorophene oxyacetic acid. They're going to use, they've made a new GMO corn, and soy is on the way, that is resistant to dichlorophene oxyacetic. Oh, I knew it was going to happen once tonight. Dichlorophene oxyacetic acid. They've made things that are proof of them so that they can use it as a defoliant to fight weeds in giant, huge farm crops.
Yeah.
Good news is this 2,4-D is much more the will kill your fucking grandchildren part of Agent Orange, but it's not good. It's the trichlorophene oxyacetic acid is the worst.
I was going to be like, wow, why don't they just drop napalm on it? That'd be effective, too.
That's what they want to do, Corey, because plants are currently becoming proof against the current defoliant, which is Roundup. Yeah, that Roundup. That one. That's the one. That they use right now. That's made by everybody's favorite chemical company.
Johnson & Johnson?
Monsanto Corp.
Oh,
yay, Monsanto.
All right. You've hit some hot button subjects.
Oh, would you like to tangent for a moment?
Oh, just a moment.
Luckily, I wrote it down, so I'm pretty sure I can get back to it.
Very good. You use the term GMO.
Yes, genetically modified organism.
Have you ever seen a wild banana?
I haven't actually. I would like to say I have, but I know that they were a tiny little
thick
pithy things.
Rye and filled with seeds that are inedible and pretty much toxic.
Oh, yeah. You ever seen original corn? Nobody has. It's been extinct for thousands of years. Well, hundreds of years.
Because we've been genetically modifying organisms.
Of years. Actually, the Native American, the South American Native Americans.
Now, I don't want to free big corporation from evils.
No?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I just don't like the kicking around of the GMO.
Oh, no, listen, homie, understand me. There is nothing wrong with genetically modifying your food crop.
Okay, personally, I'm for figuring out how to make giant tomatoes, and I always like that reference because that's the one everybody uses.
Dude, I've seen that movie. It doesn't work out good for us.
Killer tomatoes! Okay.
I actually haven't seen that movie.
No? You should.
Continue.
It's terrible. So that we can feed everybody.
One tomato will feed all of Africa. God, could you imagine how quickly they would have armed guards? And a new warlord would be like, he'd have a crown on a tomato.
And he would just sit there and slice chunks of the tomato out.
All I'm
and
saying,
eat them in front of the people.
I'm just saying,
that
Africa,
are begging for some.
The dirtier parts of Africa would really fuck up a giant tomato.
And he says, I'll give you some tomato if you let me rape your daughter. And the guy's like, but she's 7.
Is that where you were going with this?
Do you want tomato or not?
Okay.
You said dirtiest parts of Africa.
That's not the kind of dirty I meant. But I guess it's in the
I know, but it popped in my head when you said dirty, and I had to get it out.
I appreciate it, I guess. So yeah, no, I'm not against GMO food, and I think that anybody who is hardcore against GMO food doesn't really understand how food works. If that's your stance, I encourage you to educate yourself a little bit on where food comes from. Like you said, bananas and like
but
I
it
said,
comes
corn.
from farmers, Stace.
Yeah, American farmers.
Comes from good old home American farmers down home in your local area.
Yeah, well, in South America where corn came from, it used to be the size of about your pinky nail, and each stalk produced only like 3 of those. So we've been genetically modified. It's one of the characteristics of the human being is that we change our environment to suit our needs. And
Corn was South American too?
Yes.
So was the potato, it turns out.
And tomato.
Yeah, all Indies and chili.
Yeah, makes you wonder how Italian food got to be called Italian food. It's really South American food.
Yeah, the potato as we know it didn't make it to Europe till the 1500s. I wonder when corn started to be modified.
Oh my God, about 3,000 years ago.
I mean, to the point where when did the original corn turn into the corn we know now and start to get trucked out to other people?
I'll put it to you this way. We're not entirely sure what the original corn was, but we have it narrowed down to 2 plants that were not called corn, and you wouldn't recognize them.
The potato thing's almost recognizable. Like, you could see them and go, well, I could see where that eventually turned into the potato that we
that's
eat.
a tuber. It's got eyes. It's looking at me.
It's got colors that are similar to a potato.
That's a guinea pig, Corey. Also from South America.
Really?
Yeah, they used to be the size of small dogs.
Really? I want a small dog guinea pig. That'd be awesome.
They were for food. They were a major food crop.
Guinea pig?
Food crop? Yeah.
Are guinea pigs delicious?
When you're in a continent that doesn't have pigs, yeah, guinea pigs will do. If you're in a continent without beef or horses, guinea pigs are fucking delicious. And they're easy to raise.
And they look like shaved hip. They look like hippos when you shave them.
They look like what?
Hippos when you shave them.
They do look like hippos if you shaved them.
The internet taught me that.
So I'm all about GMO food too. But I'm also a little bit about the environment, which brings me back to the point. So the current weeds have gotten accustomed to Roundup. The most popular herbicide worldwide is used.
They've grown a resistance
to Roundup. Yeah, they do that from time. That's why they needed to make Roundup, because it got immune to the last thing. And the thing before that, that's how it goes. So listen, to give you an idea of how much Roundup we're talking about here.
Okay, I know you love your numbers. Give me some numbers.
70% of the world's corn and 90% of the world's soy. These plants are used, they're not just for corn and soy. These plant products then go to make cooking oils and breads, butter, cereal products, vegetarian products like tofu and all the things that tofu gets made into. This corn is turned into pig feed, so now your ham's getting it too. And if your ham's got it, you got it. It's getting turned into chicken feed, now your eggs and your chicken. I mean, it's just we use so much corn. And this is 70%.
So pretty much worthless.
That's
nutritionally to us.
I don't have the numbers for that, but I don't believe it. But I'll look at it, and if you're right,
the nutritional value of corn to us is so slim.
It's so plentiful.
The corn, it's a filler.
When I'm not talking out of my ass, I'd be happy to talk about this with you.
Oh, okay.
But anything I said right now would be completely talking out of my ass.
Okay.
So that's 70% of the world's corn and 90% of the world's soy currently being herbicided with Roundup because it doesn't kill the corn and soy. Well, now they've made corn and soy that's proof to dichlorophene oxyacetic acid, half of Agent Orange, to bring us back around. That's gross. What's next? We're going to use the other half of Agent Orange, the really bad one? Like, this causes birth defects, and we know that. And
well, no, we know, in fairness, we know that the combination of the two chemicals together causes birth defects. I'm not saying that it wouldn't. I'm just saying we know.
There are studies... Because we're talking about Dow Corporation here, Dow Chemical. So they've definitely, they field test this shit. And it's been found, no concrete studies have found super concrete evidence, but one study did find that, I'm sorry, bear with me 1 second while I find it in the story, because I suck at finding things in the story. Corey, I really like the way you're helping me out here with my tailspin.
Oh, well, I wasn't supposed to sit back and enjoy it?
No.
Oh, shit. My bad. Listen, I don't...
There we go. I found it.
Right.
Okay, good job, Corey. Thank you for your help. So it's the less toxic of the two herbicides contained in Agent Orange. A 1990 study of farmers in Nebraska, which was adjusted for exposure to other chemicals, found that 2,4-D, that's dichlorophene oxyacetic acid, in case you were keeping score.
I wasn't.
The exposure to that substantially increased the risk of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I believe that's cancer.
Yes.
In layman's
Bad
terms.
cancer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not a good cancer, if there can be said to be a good one. That's not on that list.
One study found that how probable was this in the study?
60% more likely.
So you were 60% more likely
to develop. That means
out of
10 people, 6 people developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
No, that is not what that means. That you're out of 10 people, 6 people were more likely to develop lymphoma.
I think they determine your likelihood by the fact that you got that shit.
No, that's not how that works.
No.
Like, if you use birth control, you're 70% or you're like 80% more likely to develop breast cancer, but that doesn't mean because you use birth control you'll get breast cancer.
I'm willing to throw this part of my argument away and say that's not...
I'm just saying I wonder what the number of people are who were
actually
going to get lymphoma anyways.
Yeah, this makes it 60% bigger than that.
And it makes you 60% more likely. But if it were 70 million to 1 that you were going to get this disease, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're now 60% more likely of that. So now you're only...
That's not how it works, dude. But what I mean, all right.
That is how it works.
No, it's not. But okay, it doesn't matter.
All right, well,
it's more than not likely.
Can we?
You're going to get. You're more likely to get a kind of nasty ass cancer from this, and they know that going into it.
Could we agree to let me do the research for next week about whether the studies work like that? Whatever your original odds are getting you're 60% more likely based on those odds. And then we can do another show? Can we agree to that?
Sure.
Okay.
It's just that particular is not...
So we don't have to argue now.
It's a relevant particular.
But we don't have to argue now. We can do the research, come back educated. For now, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Is that a compromise we can make?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So as I was saying, you will get non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's sure as shit.
I would like to do my research before I say how I feel about them using that particular chemical.
On a side note, a recent study published in Entropy linked glyphosate, the active ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup. They linked that to inflammations, which cause symptoms that mimic those of gluten intolerances. Now, Roundup use is tremendous. I've known a lot of people to be diagnosed with gluten intolerance these days.
It seems like one of those things that just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, maybe it didn't pop up out of nowhere. Maybe, and this is just, gross speculation, maybe it popped up because we started spraying all our food plants with glyphosate. 90% of the soy?
That's a lot.
It's a lot. That leaves 10% of the soy.
which is the people that grew it in their backyard.
And that stuff, when you say... wasn't sprayed, like when you're talking about, you buy organic soy. Well, that comes from a big farm, and that big organic farm is right next door to the not organic farm. They're often closely together.
I okay, what you're saying. Definitely within the same watershed.
But yeah, exactly. So, your organic might not be as organic as you wish it was. And that sucks. I think that sucks for the organic people.
Well, there's always indoor hydroponics.
As opposed to the non-organic people.
There's always indoor hydroponics, and you can grow some killer vegetables.
Yeah, but dude, you go...
with indoor hydroponics.
If you go buying indoor hydroponics...
you go on a red flag somewhere.
Then you notice that fucking helicopters are flying flying by your house more often than they were, and then one day their man's at your door being like, we need to see what you got eating all that electricity. And you're like, dude, I grow tomatoes. And
Then
they're
they're
like,
going to come in and look at your tomatoes.
we need to see it anyway. Here's a warrant. And now your day's offset because you got to have guys looking at your tomatoes.
But you have organic, healthy food for your children.
You know where you don't have to worry about people knocking at your door about what you're growing in your basement?
China?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's what you get for leaving such an open-ended question.
More locally, Colorado. Colorado is rich, bitch. Did you hear?
Yes. Over a milli.
Over a milli, just slightly over 2 milli.
Yeah.
The numbers are in, and Colorado has generated...
the final number's in? I didn't hear the final number. I heard it was closer to 2, but it wasn't over 2.
Didn't read the word final.
Okay.
I just wrote up a little thing.
Mindset final?
If it sounds like I'm reading a news story, it's because I wrote a story about news. The numbers
so
what
you're telling me is not to probe? Sucks when somebody does
Maybe
that
not
to you,
that
doesn't
much, you know.
Okay, I won't poke any holes in your news story. Move on.
The numbers are in, and Colorado has generated an additional $2 million in tax revenue from recreational marijuana sale after just 1 month. Uno month, amigo. Overall sales for marijuana were over $14 million. That's, wow, $14 million of added revenue. This is the devil's drug. If you used that as an average and spread it over the 50 states, now I'm saying that this is not... I did this because it was quick to do.
I'm going to have some numbers questions here.
I don't think this is a legitimate average. What I did was I took that $2 million in tax revenue and that $14 million in income and times it times 50 states. Now, you're going to say some states are going to do more and some states are going to do less, and you're correct. But currently, only one state is providing the data, and currently I only have 1 month's data to work with. So I times it by 50 states and by 12 months of the year. And that would be $100 million of extra tax money per month for each for the entire number of states. And that's without federal tax, which if all the states legalize this, there'd be federal tax on it.
Well, you're a business owner. You're going to pay taxes as a business owner on a federal level, no matter
you're
what.
Right. Good point.
That's what this law brings about. Is it's not so much the people that are buying. It's not the customers of the weed that are paying the brunt of the tax. It's the business owners that spur up the dispensaries and growers that pop up from the legalization and that make a living doing it. They pay a bunch of tax.
Yeah, well, I bet they're not complaining about that because I saw a story about
I didn't say they were crying about
millionaires who were stoners a week ago.
I didn't say they were crying about it. I'm just saying that's where most of that tax revenue is coming from is small business owners. So what were criminals last week?
Yeah.
Are now
2 months ago
are now generating tax flow generating business owners.
Yeah, 14 to the tune of $14 million in a month. Uno monto, amigo.
And maybe one more person's cocaine deal wasn't fueled by the money of a pot deal.
Oh, the Mexican drug lords are probably quite upset about this, but poo-poo on you, jerks.
Like they say what I've heard were that the numbers for domestic pot use was it's somewhere like 80% American grown pot is used inside.
Oh, I believe that.
There's only a small amount that's imported because it's pot.
You hear ignorant talking heads on TV talking about how marijuana trade influences mega drug trade in Mexico, and I do not believe that.
But what I do
at all,
if you think about it on a micro scale, a guy might be able to afford a sellable bag of weed, sell it for a profit a couple times, now have enough money to buy a sellable bag of cocaine. Sell it for a couple times, now have enough money to buy a sellable bag of crack cocaine, and then heroin, and then on a micro level, a person could use marijuana sales to get themselves into sales of harder drugs. So having dispensaries takes away that gateway. So now it really has no excuse to be labeled a gateway drug.
To what?
Be labeled a gateway drug.
Oh, I don't. All right, you're right. The argument you made did suggest that there was a legitimate excuse, and I would buy that. It was a good argument.
That was the last legitimate excuse that I could have thought
of. To spell out the numbers, the dollar value, just real quick, per year. That's if they only do $2 million in taxes every month, and I think January is They're a hot tourist spot right now. Did you know that they are the #1 tourist destination in America right now?
Do you know if I had like an extra $400 to throw out the window, I might take a vacation to Colorado for a weekend?
Hell yeah. This industry, Corey, has spawned a bunch of offshoot industries too, because they use the oil and cook chocolates with it and baked goods. And you could just buy the butter yourself and make whatever you want with it. And
how about the airplane industry and the hotel industry, since it's a booming tourist?
Yeah, because it's a booming tourist thing.
And cabs.
Wait till
and
summer.
Bus fares.
They have snow in Boulder in summer, right?
Yeah.
You could be snowboarding in summer in Boulder, Colorado.
They have mountains and things.
Yeah, right. I know that, but I don't know if it's snowy all the time.
Like you can ski in the mountains.
It's always snowy on South Park, but I mean, I don't trust everything I see on TV.
You can ski in the mountains all the time.
Right.
But I know it's summertime.
Guess what else you can do in the mountains now? Legally. Hooray.
Hey, busy. Yes, I did it.
$1.2 billion in taxes for a year. If they only did $2 million a month, $1.2 billion. That's a big number. And I tried to find things that were like that you could buy with that kind of money. So here's what I did: $700 million in revenue per each of the 50 states per year would make the amount of money $8.4 billion over the 50 states in a year. And that is more than the GDP of the Bahamas.
Word. And imagine what...
and that's in private money. That's like not even the taxes.
Imagine what a state like New York State...
Oh, my goodness.
With our population density.
Yeah.
And liberal-ass culture.
And we mean dense, folks, I guess. Yeah, imagine any state. There's gold in that there weed.
There's gold in that there weed there, boy. That's why I think New York's gonna skip over the medical marijuana thing, because he's doing the limited test drive on 5, 10, whatever it is, hospitals.
5 hospitals are about to be fucking booming.
And it's gonna be terrible. Whatever. That's why I think they're gonna see what it does tax wise for Colorado. Do the math for our population.
Yeah.
And go, ha!
Yeah, I should have done it by population, but it'd be hard because they're a booming tourist town too. So how do you know the numbers aren't in?
And if you legalize marijuana, recreational marijuana use in other states, it would thin out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, these numbers are the grossest speculation, but it's the only data set I had to extrapolate from. So that's what it is.
But I think New York State personally is going to just skip over the medical marijuana, go to the pot doctor, do the California thing. Like California used medical marijuana to just kind of give it the big loophole for everybody to walk through.
Right, and they're super liberal about it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but I think New York State's just going to skip it and go Colorado style and go, all right, fine, fuck it.
You got a prescription for that? Get headaches, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I don't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I can't sleep.
Too busy getting stoned. What can I do, Doc? I can stop getting stoned. Yeah, I don't know about that. Can I get a second opinion?
All right. How about you smoke some more? How about you keep getting stoned?
Yeah, there you go. Let me write you a prescription for this because currently Newport is sponsoring numerous amounts of prescriptions for this. I don't know.
Laurel
if
and
that's
Tobacco.
True, but whatever. Is that true?
For Newport?
Oh, is that who owns Newport?
Yeah, Laurel and Tobacco.
Ah.
That's Newport.
Do you know DirecTV is a subsidiary of General Motors?
Thank you for the impromptu segue.
General Motors makes more money in porn than they do in cars.
Do you know why that might be?
Because of their DirecTV sales.
No, why they might not? They make more money in porn than the cars?
Oh, because porn's cheaper to buy than cars. You can buy a lot of porn.
GM recalls another 1.5 million vehicles to take a $300 million debt.
Ouch.
General Motors Company will take a $300 million charge primarily to cover the costs related to the faulty ignition switch.
Oh, because of the cobalt ignition switches, the keys fell out and then shit locks up. And
I'm familiar with it.
I'm sorry. Continue your story.
I know. We both were like, I know that problem because we both work for Chevy.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to blow up your spot.
Do you know how many of those I've replaced when I worked at that dealership?
How many?
At least 7.
Wow. That's lots. That's more than 6 by 1.
At least.
If you extrapolated that 10 times, it'd be 70.
And the population of New York.
I'm just saying, that's the only data set I had. I had to extrapolate from something.
To at least 12 deaths as well as 3 more recalls to
Wait
be
a minute.
announced.
You fixed 7 of those and caused 12 deaths?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Good job, Corey.
Faulty ignition switches were linked to 12 deaths, as well as 3 more recalls are to be announced on Monday. The number 1 U.S. automaker, which will take the charge in the first quarter, did not provide a breakdown on how much was related to the ignition switch recall.
Chevrolet is the number 1 automaker?
In total, yes. Ford is the number 1 truck maker.
Surprised by that.
In the world, by the way.
Is that Chevrolet or GM?
GM.
Okay, that's different than Chevrolet. They have so many product lines. Okay.
It's hard to argue with Cadillac still.
Yeah.
We'll take the charge in the first quarter to the ignition switch recall of more than 1.6 million older model vehicles.
Did you just yada, yada, yada sex?
Wow, Seinfeld reference. Great. No, I yada, yada, yada what I already read.
Oh, okay.
GM also said it's recalling more than 1.5 million newer sport utility vehicle, luxury sedans, and full-size vans in 3 separate recalls, while there were reports of engine compartment fires in 2 dealer-owned Cadillac XTS sedans.
Yo, you could make a song out of this. Luxury sedans and compact vans, they're burning up in flames, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Continue.
The company said it has received no reports of accidents or injuries related to the 3 new recalls. They're dealership cars.
What do you mean? Aren't they all dealership cars?
No, the fires in the Cadillacs that started this recall,
yeah,
were only dealership cars. Nobody had taken ownership of them yet.
Oh, all right.
So, no major injuries or anything.
What do they just catch on fire sitting there?
While there were reports of engine compartment fires in 2 dealer-owned Cadillac XTS sedans, is the information that I have.
Oh, okay. All right.
You used that excuse several times.
That's
tonight.
fine. Hey, man, I don't expect you to have called the Cadillac dealerships where that shit happened. Although that's what a real newscaster would have done.
Good thing they do all the work and I just read it.
Yeah. Thanks, Associated Press, and Al Jazeera, and Wikipedia. You're the best.
Reuters.
Or also Reuters is a good news source, I guess. They're one of the big 6.
I asked quote, I asked our team to redouble our efforts on our pending product reviews, bring them forward and resolve them quickly, end quote, said GM Chief Executive Mary Barra. That is what today's GM is all about. End quote.
Engine fires?
Yes.
We're all about fucking shit up and fixing it quick.
That's
we're America's import.
So, I have a couple of questions. Maybe they're a little simpler than, details. When did GM take a bailout full of American taxpayer money?
2008, 2009?
2008, 2009. Guess what models of vehicles?
Oh, probably 2007, 2008, I bet. 2006 to 2008, right? Is that right?
I don't know. I don't have that information. Oh. But I would guess from my experience that you're absolutely correct.
Well, Cobalt started in 2006, I think. Mm-hmm. And that's the car, one of the cars that's got the problem. So I assume that it's the part from those cars, and it's probably the part from those cars that's in all cars because it's just an ignition switch or module, whatever, either way. So, yeah, that makes perfect sense. They need a bailout because they had made shitty cars for about 25 years.
They killed people.
And at the very end of that 25 years, they made among the shittiest cars ever. However, I will say this. The shittiest cars ever go to a different American car company. I don't want to name names, but I hate their commercials.
They got one product line, that shitty name that you're not naming. They got
all
one
the
product
American
line
that
I love.
Listeners.
It's got a van, sliding doors.
Listeners and Corey.
What, Stacey? What?
Thank you. I'd like to point out, put everybody's mind to rest, all the American car companies are making A number 1 cars today.
A number 1 good for you,
These
yes.
Cars, A number 1 good for you.
Yes,
you're
A number 1.
You're going to rub them. Come and drive, you're going to rub them.
Listen, no, I'm seriously. If you come down and drive, I'll take care of the price. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tell them AirWreckRadio sent you, folks. They said you were going to rub them or something. I don't know.
So GM takes a whole bunch of money because they built cars that kill people, and now they're going to just pay those people the money they took from us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fun.
Oh, you're right. It kind of does work out that way a little bit,
A
at least a little bit. Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't have. I don't know. You know what? That problem's a little bigger than I know enough about to talk about. Although I could yell about it for quite a while, not knowing what I was talking about.
Yell about it!
I feel quite content about yelling. I was really big on the wave thing. Folks, I'm pushing the buttons tonight, so I saw the waveform on that one. It was wild.
I'm going to grab the stick from you for a second.
It was wicked.
The U.S. government has declared it wants to stop being in charge of how the internet is run.
Homie, you didn't take the stick from me. You were. It was your story. You just interrupted yourself.
No, you were talking.
Well, I was talking.
Yeah.
The internet. What now?
Basically, what I said was something close to polite in podcasting lingo of shut the fuck up, I want to move on.
Shut the fuck up and repeat what you just said. I wasn't listening.
The U.S. government has declared it wants to stop being in charge of how the internet is run. The U.S. Commerce Department has announced its intent to hand control over to the wider net community. It has asked net overseer ICANN to work out how to shift control from the U.S. government to an alternative body.
I have a quick question. What was the name of the organization they're sending control over to?
ICANN.
Before that, the web community. Was that what they said?
To the wider net community.
Is that something it's called, or is that just a reference to a...
That's a reference to a wider community.
I wasn't sure if it was capitalized.
No, it's not capitalized, quoted. It's just over to the wider net community.
Okay. Because I could see Wider Net being a company's name.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Well, I'll jump on that.
AirWreckRadio is now brought to you by Wider Net. So if you want to open a company that has that, you're going to have to pay us up.
Copyright.
Yeah, we said it. It must mean something.
Means us to us now.
Continue.
It said it wants the successor controlling body to be made of both positive private companies and government representatives.
And then?
And then? So much information.
Oh,
the way the internet came about meant the U.S. retained ultimate control over how the network was operated. The process of stepping back from that began in 1998 with the creation of ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers.
Oh, God. It's an acronym? Continue.
ICANN's pretty good, though. Under contract
I can, you can, we all can.
Okay, this private company that was created by the government was under contract from the U.S. government. ICANN oversees the net addressing system that underlies everything people do online. Now it wants to further and let ICANN run that addressing system without any U.S. interference.
Huh.
In a statement setting out its plan, Assistant Secretary of Commerce Lawrence Strickling said, the handover must support and enhance the multi-stakeholder model for the governing of the net as well as maintain its openness. Dr. Stephen Crooker, chairman of ICANN's board, said the day the net would be free of the U.S. oversight had been long envisioned.
What was his name?
Stephen Crocker.
The dude from Fairly Odd Parents is running the internet now?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Crocker.
Fairly Odd Parents! I love that show.
We've all known this has been a long set destination. Now it is up to our global stakeholder community to determine the best route to get us there. So we're letting go of the baby that we created there.
So you read the story.
Yeah, just now.
What is your...
I literally said, headline, and saved it and read it for you right now.
In regards to free speech, would you say that this is a good thing or a bad thing?
I would say...
If I could ask you a very broad question about something you have no specialty in whatsoever and only just read that story, I think right now, right?
Yeah, now, with you.
Yeah.
We're all in it together.
Your professional opinion, sir.
Well, everybody's allowed to have an opinion.
Absolutely. That's why I'm asking you yours.
I got to say the jury's out because...
Too soon.
Part of me wants...
That's what you're saying.
Part of me wants to say that that capitalism would take over here, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander money-wise is a positive thing.
Oh, God, I hope the other part of you. Continue.
But, as we've proven...
Yeah. I think
capitalism...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm with you here.
isn't exactly out for the people's best interest and
not as it
rights.
is now. Not as it is now.
Not as much as they are out for their pocketbooks.
Yes.
Proven time and time again.
Yeah, unfortunately, our wealthy experience no feeling of shame about hoarding their wealth.
Zero.
Which is unfortunate because it's kind of hard for us to make them feel ashamed of what they're doing because we've been taught that that's the American way. But I don't think that is.
Stacey, your communist is showing.
I don't think I'm communist, man.
I just listened to the words that you said.
I think I'm a capitalist that would like to have some morality in our human, like in our.
Okay, I see where you put your communist
like,
away.
It's not that there's something wrong with the way we do business. There's something wrong with the way we live our lives, and we just don't have morality in us anymore. Think about it, man. Do you feel like the kids these days are properly respectful?
No. No.
Do you feel like there's a wider problem there than just the crotchety old man talking, right? Like, we don't have...
this is hard for me. You asked a very specific question, and it's hard for me to answer.
Money supersedes morality these days, and that's where we fucked up. But good luck getting the fucking people with the money to think that, because for them, it's working great.
So the people for the money controlling the interwebs... sounds kind of dangerous.
See, a rich motherfucker who we all thought was an idiot was the first fucking person to say interwebs, and we all thought he was stupid for saying it. Now we all say it because he's powerful and rich, and we love that about him.
Yeah, interwebs is pretty cool.
And even if we didn't love that about him, too fucking bad. He's got all the money.
Hey, man, all his buddies.
Yeah, and all his buddies, including Monsanto, who we talked about earlier as being a giant evil entity.
Oh.
I don't think we said evil. I don't think I meant evil. Chemistry is good. We need to have big money at chemistry.
So,
back to your story.
No, I'm done with it.
Nope, all done.
Do you have anything else, or do you want to go with something else?
I have. It's time for a breaky poo, and then we come back and do a fun story that I have, and you have something else?
You got a great fun story. Well, then I will pick between one of my two, and I think I'm going to go with this. I have science or politics.
Folks, you can vote now at AirWreckRadio.com. No, I'm kidding. This is a podcast. We recorded this already. You're not listening to us now. When we come back, you still won't be listening to us now, but I hope when you're listening to us, you're still listening to us. Thanks for joining us, and hang in there.
Finally, a show for the people. Men of such sensitivity and caring.
And I'm sorry to any of our black listeners.
We have black listeners? Men of such professionalism and style.
Clearly I fucked up.
That's what it looked like when you were in control.
Alright, now shut up.
Men of integrity. I was more worried about midget porn, but you have a good point about,
I was trying to be, to reach the broader audience than the...
I don't do that. And men of courage.
You fucking kidding me?
Oh my god, we're terrible at this.
It can only be AirWreckRadio.
Thank you for listening to AirWreckRadio and hanging through the break.
You're welcome.
And hearing a word from other podcasting genius such as ourselves. And do you know where you could hear more podcasting genius? And this time,
I do, but why don't you tell the listeners?
With a live flavor. You can get that tasty, tasty podcasting down at ROC Podfests 2014, March 28th and 29th at the Record Archive, 33 1/3 Rockwood Street, Rochester, New York, 14610. Live shows 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. both nights. It is a weekend full of genius podcasting of the local variety.
Yeah.
Please come down, stop down, and support all your favorite local podcasts like AirWreckRadio, AirWreckRadio.com, and A Podcast, also available at AirWreckRadio.com.
a friendly tip. Folks, unfortunately, this is a non-drinking event, so what you're going to want to do
is buy a flask
pre-game. And then you know how to follow up on the pregame. I don't think I need to tell people.
Do you think people could tell there's vodka in my Mountain Dew?
I think it'd be wrong for us to tell people to bring a flask because I think it'd be insulting their intelligence. People know how to if they want to come to this event and drink, but I just want to let you know there's not going to be booze there. It's not that kind of thing. Because we'd have had to get licenses, which we didn't want to have to do because it costs money. So take care of yourselves, friends.
That's a good little PSA there.
Yes.
I want you to know that they could cut out my little plug there. They could cut that shit out and make a soundbite out of it.
Yeah. I guess they could.
Fuck commercial because it was professionally done.
Yeah, commercials.
Style.
That's what podcasting is all about. Commercials.
A little bit, yeah, actually.
Speaking of commercials, so do you remember during the Olympics, they had those stupid chicken nugget commercials, Corey?
Yeah, that's because McDonald's sponsors athletes all over the world.
Yeah, and they compared going for a gold medal, going for a golden delicious chicken nugget.
And she reaches high and she dunks the nugget in the sauce.
While I was searching the things for the legalization story in Colorado, I was trying to find things that you could buy with the money that they made. And my wife was like, well, how many chicken nuggets could you buy? And I could have done that math real easy. If 4 pieces of $1, it was $2 million. That's $8 million. But that didn't occur to me. So I tried to use the internet to find out. And looking back, that seems really stupid.
But if you really wanted to get complicated, it would be less than that because you're buying in bulk. And
yeah. All right. Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you for making. Now I feel slightly less stupid.
Oh, you're not buying 2 million 4 pieces.
Right. Good point. You could even do that math on the 20-piece level because you save money buying a 20-piece.
Exactly.
It's less than $4.
So really, if you do the math all the way up based on that, if you got 8 million chicken nuggets, it really only costs $17.
Yeah. Yes. And it would have approximately that same number of chickens in it. So while searching for that piece of knowledge, which I probably shouldn't have even needed to do, I did find this little story. This is from the Huffington Post.
Ooh, HuffPost.
What does it take to power an Olympic athlete to Olympic gold? If the athlete in question is Usain Bolt, known as the fastest man alive, the answer is McDonald's Chicken McNuggets, about 1,000 of them. In Faster Than Lightning, Bolt reveals that he wasn't a fan of the Chinese food available to him during the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, so he subsided largely on McNuggets. Quote, at first I ate a box of... I'm sorry, it probably sounded a lot more clicks and whistles-y, but... They translated it for me.
He's done a lot of interviews. His English is probably pretty good
I'm
by now.
Sure it is. I feel awful about having said that.
It was a good joke, though.
Oh, you're welcome. At first, I ate a box of 20 for lunch, then another for dinner. The next day, I had 2 boxes for breakfast, and 1 for lunch, and then another couple in the evening.
Well, do you know how many calories this dude needs to survive?
This tells me that in Beijing, you can get McNuggets during breakfast. China has a better McDonald's menu. Yeah. In America, it's breakfast at breakfast time and dinner at dinner time.
That's what you get or you get nothing.
But in Red China...
You get anything you want whenever you want.
You can order whatever you like. That's bullshit.
I saw how you snuck that. So you should have stopped there. I saw you snuck that one in there.
End quote.
That's pretty good. I'm glad that you had that little.
He recalled that in his book, estimating that he ate 100 of the processed snack-size meat chunks every day over his 10-day stay in Beijing. That's at least 1,000 nuggets worth 47,000 calories, calculates NBC Sports.
But do you know how many calories that dude needs?
Oh, Bolt? Oh, a ton.
Training?
A ton. Bolt won 3 gold medals at the Beijing Olympics, an impressive feat he repeated again in the 2012 London Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker,
but he was probably
fast.
he was eating some real food in the London Olympics, I'm sure.
Yeah, haggis.
Delicious haggis.
Otherwise known as unprocessed chicken nuggets.
So what you're trying to tell me is that Super Size Me dude is full of shit? If I eat chicken nuggets,
Yeah.
like to go out of style, I'll be Usain Bolt.
Yes,
I'll be the
that's
fastest.
exactly what I'm saying. If you just eat 1,000 chicken nuggets in a month, you'll be the fastest human being. Well, you'll be as fast as the fastest human being alive.
I gotta go.
That's all he did. No training or anything.
For his entire life, and be genetically predetermined to be from part of the world that builds the world's most genetically perfect runners.
Dude, if you ate all those chicken nuggets, do you know what you would have?
A heart attack?
Gravity.
Your own. And I not only did I like the setup for the heart attack line, I like the little segue through there. We won't tell them, the listeners, but that was a good segue. What, did I ruin it?
I don't know. Are we are we going to not tell them or not?
Big Bang breakthrough announced. Gravity waves detected. We have detected gravity waves from 13.8 billion years ago.
13.8 billion years ago. Corey, that's as far back as things go.
When the universe burst onto the scene.
Guy, fucking hate that expression. Not like the way you said it. Nothing personal.
I really hate Big Bang to be the description of this moment.
I really hate that
because
show.
from what I understand, the expansion of the universe at that moment was faster than the speed of light. And it's the only thing that we ever could have suspected to be. I don't think Big Bang gives justice to the violence of what that is. From infinitesimally small to infinitely big.
From a 0 point
to infinity.
Yeah, to all that there was.
For now.
Yeah.
Faster than the speed of light. I mean, they measured in Planck time, and a Planck time is there's 6 billion Planck time in a second.
Yes,
something like that.
Yeah, no, maybe something like that. But I know that it refers to a large number, but an odd number, like 333 light years or something like that.
I think I rounded,
or maybe it's thousands of light years. I don't know. It's a very tiny fraction of time.
A Planck time is a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
And it's tiny. Maybe it was 1.6. It might have been 1.6. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Ridiculous, unconceivable amounts of tininess from zero to explosion. I hate that fucking term.
Yeah,
Big
not
Bang.
an explosion. Here's the thing. I just read about this in the brief history of nearly everything. The way we conceptualize the Big Bang is not exactly correct because, and I saw that Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, that Cosmos, and they depicted it in a way that I was like, why did they do that?
I've been watching the Discovery Channel's How the Universe Works with Mike Rowe.
That's a terrific show.
It is, but I've had several moments actually where I was like, well, why did they depict it that way? I've heard arguments in other theories.
The big thing about the Mike Rowe show is that it's old.
Well, that's true too.
3 years old.
That's true too.
I mean, but the Cosmos show is brand new, man. It's by the guy. Think of the guy on that. It's just, not Mike Rowe is the man. That's fine. Mike Rowe is the man. No disrespect, Mike Rowe, if you're listening. I love everything you do. But Neil deGrasse Tyson is the guy for this kind of thing.
Well, yeah, he's definitely the face of scientific literacy.
And it should be all completely up to date. So, when they talk about the Big Bang and they demonstrate it by showing taking a camera view that's looking at a tiny point, that's wrong because there's nowhere for the camera to be.
Yeah,
there's nothing there. It should be a white screen that zooms out quickly into a resolution of fog, basically, with a tiny point at the where you could see things happening from the middle of it. But
I kind of see your artistic point of view. I guess my counter argument would be that the moment happened so fucking quickly, and when pure energy turned into matter, in an instant. It's got to be hard to depict.
It makes my butt hurt that they continue to do this outside camera angle when there's no outside. You're showing the world burst into the creation
existence
pop into effect in an empty space, but that's not how it was. There was no space. There was no space. We're conceptualizing it wrong. There was nothing. It didn't expand into something. It expanded and was something.
Maybe.
Fair point.
I love throwing that one out there because you never know what we're going to find behind the next layer.
Yeah, sure. All right, maybe.
I love that's the best thing about astronomy and astrophysics.
Yeah,
is you never know what they're going to find behind the next layer.
I always find that the best thing about astrophysics is how late it gets me.
Yeah? Oh, yeah? Pulling a lot of astrophysics poon.
Getting that astrophysics, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I don't really think that astrophysics helps me get laid ever.
Not once, ever.
No.
Sometimes I'll watch these shows about space. And
Space?
The Final Frontier. And the fact that we even exist is both, it's amazing to me, the dichotomy of that is both absolutely necessarily probable, but it's also a fucking sheer miracle.
If you went back only 46 generations in your own lineage, you would need over 300 million couplings to happen exactly as they did, exactly when they did, exactly how they did, for you to be born today. And that's only going back 47 generations.
Now think about the solar system.
To conceptualize the solar, like the creation, put your arms wide apart. This is from that book, too. Put your arms wide apart. The space from the tip of your right hand to your left wrist is the time where there was no life whatsoever anywhere, as far as we can tell. From your hand, your one little left hand represents the amount of time that there's been any life at all. And the amount of time that there have been humans, you could scrape away from your middle finger with one swipe of a file.
Mm-hmm.
Little timeline trivia for you.
That's a fun little demonstrational fact.
Yeah, that one's stuck in my head. It's a great book. Little History of Nearly Everything, I think it's called.
It's amazing that and I don't remember who it was, but what was maybe you'd remember, but it's a paradox, or it's a paradigm about if the numbers say there has to be life somewhere else because we're one solar system of a billion solar systems.
Yeah, and we're not even that old.
In a galaxy of a billion galaxies.
Yeah.
In a cluster of a billion clusters. And we're a blip on the radar, brand new blip on the radar. Where is everybody?
Space is really big. It's really, really big. And if they got started when we got started, then they would be where we are now. And maybe even not. I mean, it really comes down to whether they were able to be inclined to get to where we are, or whether they had the resources to be able to have the time to get to where, or if they didn't destroy themselves, or if we don't destroy ourselves, we'll see. Where are they all? Who fucking knows? Are they out there? I think it's a pretty fucking safe bet.
They was or they won't be, one of the two. The reason why we even started this conversation, because my news story,
yes,
was Big Bang breakthrough announced, gravity waves detected. It teaches us something crucial about how our universe began, end quote. Sean Carroll, physicist of California Institute of Technology, who was not involved with the study, says it's an amazing achievement that we humans doing science systematically for just a few hundred years can extend our understanding that far. This long fucking dry story.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. The long and the short of it is that we've detected gravity waves.
Wow, I wonder how long you were going to, how long is that story before they start talking about that? Science journalists, could we experience a little bit of brevity now and then?
Was that 4 strokes?
That was 4 big swipes on your tumbling screen. Yeah.
They used their magical science to kill some babies and learn exactly how the gravity situation was working at 13.8 billion years ago, the moment of the Big Bang. So we've had radio waves, we've had gravitational waves.
Microwaves.
Oh, microwaves. Are we waiting on the radio?
We have
radio is particularly slow.
They have this giant picture that doesn't make any sense to somebody like me. But it's this very nice picture. It looks like it's a big oval with the tops cut flat, like an old map of the Earth. Only it's not a map of the Earth. It's the map of the entire
knowable universe.
Yes, thank you. The knowable universe that's the right thing to call it. And it's a microwave image. So I don't know what it translates into. It was pretty cool, I guess.
That's pretty awesome.
Shiny. Could be computer generated. Could all be hocus pocus.
What this does is it adds evidence to the Big Bang Theory.
I hate that show.
Moving the theory more towards a working theory, which is not quite the same thing as a theory. And also, the waves prove credence to inflation theory.
Yeah.
That the universe is consistently getting bigger.
I have a hard time with that one, because I'm like, how do you know it's getting bigger if you're getting bigger too?
Well, I don't know that it necessarily works that way.
I don't know either. That's what I'm saying. I don't get it, but
because I don't think it's matter that's getting bigger. I think it's the
things
empty.
Are getting farther apart.
The empty space is getting bigger.
Right.
Things are getting farther apart. meaning the empty universe is getting bigger. Like
Yeah,
we
but that
can
empty
clock the time that the galaxies are traveling away from us.
Oh, here's a fun thing
We can
about
clock that speed.
why. Like I said earlier about how like they it's in our minds wrong that we're expanding into something. We're not expanding into something. At the end of where light's gotten to, there's this big dark space.
Oh, that's nothing.
But that wasn't there before either. Like, so that's what we're expanding into now. But it's only like when we say we're expanding into it, we only mean what the Big Bang created. It's not expanding into a new space. It's just within its own expansion. It's a weird man.
One thing I have a hard time with?
It makes my brain hurt.
One thing I have a hard time with is dark energy.
Oh, that's pretty simple. Actually,
it's not that I don't understand the concept. It's
Who
that
does?
I have a hard time with the theory.
I think it's
itself.
completely acceptable to not understand the concept of black energy,
Dark energy.
whatever.
But it's the concept, it's the theory itself that I don't know that and it's not saying that I know that it's wrong, but I could see another workable theory. The theory is that the universe is continuing to expand, but there was no knowable force that's pushing the galaxies and the universe away.
Yeah.
And they call this force dark energy. And I believe that they call it dark energy in lieu of understanding what the fuck it really is.
Yes, that's pretty much why it's called dark energy, because we can't see it, so we call it dark.
We can't
But
measure it.
We can't measure it. Not just we can't see it, because we can't see gravity either, but we know it's there. They did computer models of using gravity to represent how creation was formed.
Let me ask you a question.
And it fell apart, so they know that there has to be something else that we don't
Something
know
else
about.
is going on. Or haven't, I mean, not know about. Maybe we just haven't factored. And
No,
this is
we just
this is
don't
my
have all
question.
the variables.
And I wish somebody could argue this point with me. Like if Dr. Tom could tell me why I'm wrong with this, that would be great.
What if I can do it?
That'd be fun too.
Okay.
But we know the laws of physics as we know them now. Understanding kinetic energy. When there's a large expansion or an explosion, even an implosion, what you have is, especially with matter, you have things that are going for a zero velocity up to their
Maximum
top velocity.
potential. Yeah.
Top velocity. And then from
And
that
then they
point,
run out of inertia.
they slow down because they slowly run out of inertia.
Right.
Isn't it possible that we're just still in the fast part of the expansion?
It is.
And we're just we're going to eventually begin to slow down as we lose.
All right, now you asked me to do something, and I'd like to do it.
Okay, either that or we're just going to keep fucking expanding until we move too far away from our sun and our planet dies.
Okay, two things. One,
The sun
you're
will
wrong,
go
and it's
bad
because your
first.
head is shaped funny.
Okay.
And now that's out of the way,
sun will shit first.
The serious addendum here is that so we know that an object in motion will stay in motion until it's enacted upon by a
outside force.
Oh,
I like to
there's
preface this.
Outside of creation, there is no force. There's no friction. There's nothing slowing that expansion down.
That's not a bad argument.
So
I kind of like that argument.
It falls into
I don't know that it busts my.
I don't know either, but it's what I think of
That's
to
a
answer
thought.
the question you asked. That's the thought I have, is that there's no outside force stopping the movement. So an object in motion remains in motion.
Because I preface this based on the fact that it's the laws of physics as we know them. Because outside of the knowable universe, the laws of physics don't, as we know them, don't
Right,
actually
and that's
exist.
the other thing. There could be multiple universes out there that whose laws of physics are completely different than ours, but like we're not gonna run into them.
Well, yeah, we're not gonna find them anytime soon.
Because there's nothing between us and them, which means that we're both right next to them and very, very far away from them. The concept of nothing here becomes so abstract that it's difficult to really wrap your head around. And even if you could, like. It's absurd to think that monkeys that talk can understand this stuff. The universe is not as simple as that.
I don't think it's as absurd as you say it is.
It's a little absurd.
I think it's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Presumptuous?
It's like if you gave a dolphin bionic arms and a xylophone and two little hammers and expected it to know how to play a xylophone.
But if it spent 200 years studying the xylophone,
it would die 3 times.
No, I think it's amazing. From talking monkeys to understanding the very moment of working towards understanding the very moment of creation itself.
Yeah.
For an entire vast universe.
We know.
Working, even if we're dead wrong, working on the multiverse theory and string theory, quantum physics. These talking monkeys that are.
Oh, I'm not saying we do a bad job of it.
That are, could be unrealistic to understand. Maybe we'll understand more than we. I mean, like what we'll understand in the future is fucking unbelievably going to be. It's going to be breathtakingly changing.
Here's part of what I'm saying. We suppose we know so much about creation, and I think that we're accurate about quite a fair amount of it. I'm certainly not. I don't have the credentials to say that we're wrong about that shit, and I don't think I mean that. But we don't know a fucking thing about most of the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's right there. I mean, we can go stick our fucking feet in it, and we don't know shit about it. Most people don't know there's a garbage patch.
The Pacific Garbage Patch.
Yeah. Most people don't know. I mean, I don't think it's fair to say most people in this audience, but I think there's quite a few people out there who do a very good job of maintaining a steady level of ignorance and don't know that there's a giant patch of plastic floating around. So,
killing everything it touches.
Or feeding microbes. Microbes are good. They eat carbon dioxide. And plastic. Now, some of them.
That's a matter of resource. Okay. To get metaphysical, I guess.
Oh, good. But I love when we get jargony.
To look at the oceans outside of, chemically what the, H2O and salt, is to look at something that we already are. And to look towards the heavens is to look towards what we were. On the grounds that everything in that ocean is made out of the same things that we're made out of.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to argue the value
down there.
If you're trying to argue with me the valor of space exploration,
no, not valor.
That's not gonna. I'm not gonna disagree with you there. I'm just saying.
I just think maybe there's more of a drive towards it than there is because of some spiritual call. Maybe that's why we work more towards understanding how space works than we do how the ocean works.
We're what happens when the universe has enough time to look at itself. So you would think, following that line of logic, that it seems only natural that we'd want to be able to do a better job of looking at the universe's self, more so than our own little speck of dust in its self.
Yes.
We're in a little fucking speck of dust in a moat in the middle of nowhere in space. We think we're not in space. We are all astronauts. It's fucking,
You're on a spaceship.
It makes me happy, man. Like when you look up at the sky in daytime and see just blue, there's stars just past that, man. And that blue, that's not real. That blue is fake as shit, dude. You create that looking at it. On the other side of that blue is stars, just like at nighttime. Only it's different stars because we're facing a different direction. But we can't see them because our own sun is so bright. When its light hits our atmosphere, it appears blue to us and diffuses so well, which is terrific, a good thing.
It just so happens that we're necessarily the right distance from that medium-sized star.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You had fun story.
I did have a fun story. You want to move on to that one? I think we've beat the shit out of space, man.
Well, we used my science story to just talk about space for a while.
All right.
Like, we didn't really do too much with the story.
Whatever. That story was too big for... I mean, it's just...
It's too long for this. It was a note that I wanted to...
And I'm very excited about that we've detected... Like, think about the math we can do with that. That's terrific. Think about the math we can
actually make a real model of it.
Think about the math we can do with this story. Take our whole show and subtract from it the time it takes to do this story, and when we know what that time is, add it back into the show, and you'll have the entire time of this show.
The end. Thank you for listening to AirWreckRadio.
No, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Oh, we're not done yet?
No. We got to do the story, and then it's the end of the show. So, folks,
that's the end of our show.
In case you had to pee but didn't want to leave your radio. We're not on the radio. I'm not really sure what you're doing.
Is this 1991?
Gather the family around the old radio and listen to Good Time American AirWreckRadio.
They paused the fucking thing.
Talking about space, the future, and politics. An elderly nun has broken into a nuclear facility.
Whores?
No, a nun.
Oh, whores.
Yeah, kind of. Okay, whatever, fine. Megan Rice. Half a sexy name there. An 84-year-old nun has been sentenced to 3 years in prison after her and 2 others broke into the Y-12 National Security Complex, a U.S. nuclear weapons complex. Not just any nuclear weapons complex. Y-12 houses the nation's primary supply of bomb-grade uranium. Fahoo! She and her compatriots were found defacing a bunker holding bomb-grade uranium. On July 28th, 2012, the 3 activists cut through the fence before reaching a $548 million storage bunker They hung banners, strung crime scene tape, and hammered off a small chunk of the fortress-like, highly enriched uranium materials facility inside the most secure part of the complex. They hammered off a chunk of that. I don't know, really, like, do you really want to be doing that? But that was their point, was like, it was so easy that an 84-year-old woman could do it.
I'm not even going to comment on the complete lack of security involved in the situation.
They painted messages such as the fruit of peace. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. They painted messages such as the fruit of justice is peace. And
the fruit of the loom is my underwears.
Yeah. And covered the bunker. No, I'm a Hanes man. And
I want to be tagless.
Yeah, man.
Fruit of the loom's tagless now, too, so
whatever. And covered the bunker walls with baby bottles of human blood, which they...
Oh, sexy.
Yeah. Which... I was like, boy, these guys knew what they were getting into.
That turns me on.
Where did they even get here? I guess they were Red Cloud. Maybe they had access to, I don't know. They work for the church. There must be vampires or something.
Human blood.
It's like what, human blood. Baby bottles full of human blood. What a creepy thing to be breaking into a nuclear
It makes me give me the heebie fucking jeebies.
But I mean, good job. They're getting talked about here, and everybody knows that once you make it to AirWreckRadio, you ain't making it nowhere else.
But thank you for listening to AirWreckRadio. This is
They say the baby bottles full of blood represent the blood of children these weapons are made to kill, which is accurate. Although the protesters set off alarms, they were able to spend more than 2 hours inside the restricted area before they were caught. When security finally, and caught should be in quotation marks, when security finally arrived, the protesters offered to break bread with them and even offered to share the Bible with them.
Oh, God.
They didn't put up any resistance or anything. They just, when security got there, they were like, oh, hey, we're here to be arrested. You want to read the Bible a little bit and maybe have a meal? No handcuffs? All right, that's cool. I guess that's your thing.
I wish they would have roughed them up good.
No, they're old.
Smacking old nuns against concrete walls.
All of these people were elderly.
Knees in the back.
The activist's lawyer asked that the judge sentence them to time served, about 9 months.
The rookie slipped with his taser and tased the shit out of him.
Whoops. Don't tase me, sonny. But U.S. District Judge Amul Thapar was having none of it, voicing concerns that the 3 religious activists had shown no remorse. Of course they didn't show remorse. They didn't hurt anybody. They broke in, how could they show remorse? They demonstrated how insanely easy it is to break into a nuclear weapons facility. They don't have anything. What do they have to feel bad about?
They broke the law, but they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, right. That is exactly right.
They broke the law, but they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
They expressed themselves in a peaceful manner. Now,
had they stolen some of this uranium,
that would be different.
That would be a completely. But that's not what they were there to do. They were just there to make a point. Look how easy it was to break in here.
But that's the point. I don't know that was the point that they were trying to make.
That is the point they were trying to make.
Really?
Yes.
Is that what they said?
Yeah. In her closing statement,
because I thought they were trying to make the point that nuclear bombs killed babies.
In their closing statement, Rice asked the judge to sentence her to life in prison, even though sentencing guidelines called for about 6 years. Please have no leniency with me. To remain in prison for the rest of my life would be the greatest gift you could give me.
She's 84.
I know, 6 years.
It's like 7 months from now.
Saying. She probably just outlived her money.
She needs dental.
Yeah. Dental. Rice and her 2 accomplices, Greg, with a weird last name, and Michael Wally. I just did that. All said,
and then I did it after you.
All said God was using them to raise awareness about nuclear weapons, and they view their break-in as a miracle.
I wonder if God was talking to them directly.
If they think that it was a miracle that they view, that's how they view their break-in, they were there to show how easy it was. Wouldn't you like to been a fly on the wall when that conversation first got struck up at the retirement home where these people were the nun and pastor of?
It's like that Outer Limits where they all woke up young again.
They're all sitting.
This time they're all going to go stop the nuclear bombs in the 50s.
It's like 6 a.m. at McDonald's. They're sitting down with their McCoffee and their McMuffins.
Their chicken nuggets.
All being angry.
Call back to the old story.
All being angry and old around the McDonald's table. We should go down there and vandalize that stuff. I love that story. I really like that the judge was like,
however, I do.
They showed no remorse.
As a personal opinion, I do feel that they're religious fanatics, and maybe they should have been kicked inside of the room with the uranium and the door locked.
That's kind of rough. I mean, they didn't hurt anybody. Why you want to hurt them?
I don't know. I just felt like saying it.
All right.
So good.
I'm going to take it like you meant it wholeheartedly.
This is the AirWreckRadio feel-good story of the day.
I think it might be. Because those chicken nuggets, dude, if I ate a fucking 4-box of chicken nuggets, I would have a stomachache about it. So that would not be my feel-good story. And certainly Dow Chemical story about the herbicide. Not really a good feeling story there.
I don't necessarily know.
No. Gravity, that's not, I like gravity. Keeps me down.
That's good.
It's subjugates us to its whims.
Oh, you know what else I like?
Ending the show.
Wrapping the podcast.
Hey, folks, I like that too. Thanks for coming around to the show. Please come on down. Check us out at the Record Archive. 33 and a third.
The Record Archive is the place to go.
That's 33 and a third Rockwood Avenue. That's Rochester, New York, somewhere.
14621.
Okay, terrific. We're going to be there Friday and Saturday, March 28th and 29th. You'll see a podcast Saturday evening. You'll see AirWreckRadio Friday evening. Thank you so much for joining us on AirWreckRadio. We will see you again next week.
It's late in the afternoon, the sun rising high. There's nothing to do around here, and if there was, well, I wouldn't try. Taking my comforts, taking good care of me. Sitting down in my easy chair, taking a sip of my sassafras tea. Now wouldn't you know it, there goes the phone again. It's probably just another wrong number, but someone tried to sell me something I can't even see. Well, I got the solution, how to deal with this insanity. Just sit down in my easy chair and take a big sip of my sassafras tea. Getting near evening, the sun rolling down. I guess I should shake a leg, climb in my car and roll downtown. Check out the city lights, all decked out in a tux and a tie. But I'm sitting in my easy chair, taking a sip of my sassafras tea. He got the willies and the worries on his mind, and the weight of the world putting pressure on his spine. Well, I got the solution, I know how to set him free. Set him down in my easy chair and give him a sip of my sassafras tea.
ROCpodcasts.com.